Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsoletes Vintage Toy Train Christmas video. This is 2024. We got a real special one this year. We just finished this layout. This is a German Marklin HO layout, and it's kind of built on a theme. The trains and stuff on here are all made between 1946 and 1959. The buildings and the catenary, the overhead power wires, everything is all proper vintage. So anyway, I want to talk just briefly about why trains have always been a hobby for me and the family. So when I was early on in grade school, after school I'd go down to my grandmother's place, and one block away was a great big train yard and a big passenger station. And I was just intrigued with all that stuff, and so I'd go down there and watch the trains be shifted around, building trains to send stuff out. And a lot of times the engineers would put me in a cab with them and run around there, and so I get to play with big trains even as a little kid. And then when I was 4 years old, I got my first toy train. It was a Mark's wind-up 027 set, and it was really noisy and had a little wheel in it with a little metal bracket in it that would spark and going out. But I don't know whatever happened to that. But anyway, every train that I got after that, I still have them today. So anyway, we like doing things as a family. So as far as trains go, we go on rail excursions occasionally, and we have 1/8 scale outdoor trains you can ride on. We do that as a family, and we all collect different eras of trains. My oldest son collects a lot of pre-war World War II stuff, and my younger son has just kind of a smattering. He has some Marklin stuff and some early Lionel and Ives stuff, different brands. But anyway, trains have always been a fun family hobby. So anyway, I want to talk about the layout a little bit. Like I say, these are German Marklin trains. I'll get my notes here. Okay, Marklin started in 1859 and originally made dollhouse accessories and toys. In 1891, they came out with their first train sets, and they were mechanical wind-up ones. And the thing that they did that was a kind of a really interesting thing that kind of made toy trains really take off is that since they built dollhouse stuff, they could manufacture buildings and stations and extra track and cars and more engines and stuff, where if you bought trains from someone else, you basically just got a set and that was it. So that really enhanced the hobby. And so in 1895 and the 1901 era was when they focused on making O-gauge trains, or it's actually zero gauge. The European scales were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the big stuff, the 5 stuff, was phased out pretty early. It just took up too much room. And so the O-gauge or zero gauge became the most popular. And they branched out in 1909. They made a toy stationary steam engine, and they were really famous for those. They're very high quality. I'll take a picture to show you some similar. We don't actually have a Marklin one, but we got Fleischmann, which are just like them. And then in 1935 they introduced HO gauge, what we have here. Now the one thing on these, Marklin used AC current, alternating current, and what that does, if you have a reverse loop, you have a train that comes around and loops and comes back and it has DC current, you have a dead short, so you have to insulate it, and then you have to have a switch to switch the polarity. Well, with this, the track is 3 rails, and we'll do a close-up here and show you. But has 3 rails, and so the center rail is the power rail, and the other ones are ground rails. And so there's no polarity. And so anyway, like an HO DC power pack, and the polarity is what changes the direction. And on these, they have a mechanical reverse unit that changes the power going through the brushes one to the other, and it gives you your forward and reverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a 1946 SK800 steam engine. It has a 4/6/4 wheel arrangement. It'll be over in the station over here, and when it comes out, it'll come on an operating turntable. It'll come out and pick up some cars, and then it'll go around the inner loop of the track first, and it'll come around and go on the outer loop. So I'll be right back. Okay, our 1946 SK800 steam engine is in the roundhouse over there. It's going to come out and get on the turntable and get turned around and come over and hook up to the passenger cars. Okay, well, our next train, this is an electric locomotive. Actually picks up the power from this catenary up here in these pantographs, and it's what's called an E44. It's a German locomotive, and we've got the coaches behind it here, so we'll give it a run. Okay, well, our next engine here is a RSM 800. It's a little 060 electric, made in 1950, and there again it picks up the power from the pantographs here. Now this catenary we have here on the outer loop is period correct from 49 to 51, and then we have a little bit newer stuff on the inside here. We couldn't find enough of the early stuff to finish it, but still period correct, so here we go. Okay, well, we're going to run two trains at the same time. So the outer engine is a 210-0 wheel arrangement, GN 800, and it's 1955. And the inner loop is going to be with the RSM 800, which is an 060 steam engine in 1952. Now the one thing on the big engine, the cars behind it are made of zinc die cast, and the passenger cars were all made out of tin. So anyway, we'll give them a run. Okay, well, we're going to talk about the accessories. This little device here is what's called a distance signal. There's one here also, and you can use those to cut the power and stop the train if you don't want it to go past that point. And of course we have the catenary here, the poles, and the wire here that feeds the power to the pantographs on the electric engines. And then over here. Okay, well, we're going to talk about the buildings on the layout here. They're all period correct. And they're stucco, which is a kind of a press board, and then the actual has stucco on them surfaces. And these were all handmade. Mostly women made them. And the little bushes and the windows, and if they have any of the window covers or like that, they're all hand carved out of wood. And so over here you can see we got a loop of them, and they're all lit. And we've got our main station right here. And here again, the little flowers and stuff like that, little benches, which we don't have all of the stuff on here yet. It was all handmade. And so then we have light poles here, and different style here and here, and then there's a double one here. So we'll come over and show you the crossing gates on the railroad, so that when a train goes by it closes the road down, and we'll show the distance signals in operation also. Okay, well, we're going to see the distance signals here working. The train come around and activate it. Okay, well, here's another period accessory. A little bus over here. That's what's called an Ehiem Trolleybus. And they were made by a couple of different companies over the years, but they were designed to run with the Marklin trains. And they have catenary and they have trolley poles that pick up the power just like the train does. So we'll start the trains in the bus. One other accessory we have here is this little sawmill. It's like a water powered mill. This rotates and stuff, and if you look inside there's a saw blade that goes up and down for cutting the lumber. As you can see, they made some really fantastic toys in the past. Okay, well, last accessory we're going to talk about is our magnetic crane here. So here is an electromagnet, and the car down below it has a metal bar and stuff, so we'll go down and pick it up and swing it over and set it down. Well, that's why I'm a toy boy. We love this old junk. Okay, the engine we're going to run for the last one today is a Swiss Crocodile, I call it. It's a CCS 800. It's a 1951 version. And we've got all the heavy die-cast cars in behind it from the same era. You can see all that fantastic work on it. It's got all the side rods just like a steam locomotive, but they were an electric engine. And it is running off the pantographs on the top. So here we go. Well, can't believe it. Another year's gone by and time for our traditional toy train Christmas. So you can see our beautiful tree, all our old style vintage ornaments. We got Callie here, our Christmas cat. A little unhappy there. Anyway, just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thanks for watching. This will be the start of our 5th season. Well, it wouldn't be Christmas without a train under the tree. So we've got about a 1928 Lionel standard gauge set, passenger set, and we'll start it up.